to know that we're friendly. Because if y'all call in, we gonna treat you like that too. So Didi, give them that number so they can call in and join the party. You're in a good mood.
Guests and callers are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
One Volunteer full range of products embodies fundamental nutrients necessary to maintain beautiful and healthy hair care without having to combine an assortment of hair care products. The one-by-one care products are designed to rejuvenate, moisturize, create shine, fortify, and stimulate hair growth while leaving your hair feeling weightless and luxurious. Be sure to visit our website at www.onebywwankaya.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at One by One Kia. Let's get your healthy hair care journey started today.
Greetings, 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 greetings. Yeah, we are back. We are back. We've been MIA for a hot, quick moment. Yes, but we are definitely back. Reasoning Thursdays, each and every Thursdays, right here on the Powerhouse Radio, streaming live on the Victorious 89.1 FM. Also, you can listen to us live on 667-930-9036 and your TuneIn apps as well. You can also go to www.dapowerhouseradio.com as well to listen in live. Man, well, I have these ladies and gent that is here giggling up the place. Let me turn on the music because they hear just a giggle up the place. I think. You know, like they have no behavior. I'm like, we're live. They're like making all these noise and giggling. I guess no behavior. Okay, we have to, before we go further, one of you darlings have your radio on. Could you please turn your radio off? Someone there have their
I don't have any radio.
Who else have their radio on?
I have nothing on in my house.
Okay, well, all right. All right, well, let's see what happens in the place. Let me turn down my
we know what it is.
Studio.
It's the monitors in the studio.
Yeah.
If you turn off the monitors in the studio and you listen in your headset, you won't hear the reverb.
Well,
yeah, we sling back sometimes.
Yes. That one was on me. I did have the speakers in the studio loud and stuff like that. And excuse me, my apologies to you all. Man, I'm telling you, it is a fantabulous time, but yet it is a mad and crazy time. And well, Mama Asid, you want to big up your listeners?
I want to big up everybody in the whole world, because even the white supremacists who listen to us and leave hate on our pages are really asking, when were we coming back? So for those who want to know, we pop in when we feel like it. Now, pop off tonight.
Queen, you want to big up your listeners?
Big up everyone. Oh Lordy, this has been fun. We really are partying, aren't we?
Yes, you all are having too much fun in the place.
Well, I am glad to be back. I miss you guys. Okay, and talking stuff to you guys. So anyway, let's go on, lady. Let's
All
go
right.
on with it.
The Respecta, you want to say something to your listeners?
Yes, I want to welcome back Queen and Mama Asid from their vacation.
Yeah, they were
They
on.
both,
It's
they
pure
both, they both
giggling.
went to Hawaii.
Yeah. Man, it's pure giggling. I'm like, okay, are we on some giggle juice tonight with these ladies? Man, well, we're back, Reasoning Thursdays, and there's a lot's been going on in the news. Obviously, well, that's not me. Obviously, we cannot you see that we cannot cover all of the topics that happens all throughout the world, but we picked some. We picked a couple. So we're going to be touching tonight on in our relationship segment, as we're going to continue it. In our relationship segment, the need for control. And I thought that this was something that was very, very important because it's getting so rampant, you know. It's but it's not me in the studio, folks. Yeah, it's getting so rampant with it right now, and okay, that's what I think it was. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it was. It's getting so rampant. Every time you spin around, there's something like this that is going on, and just this week, the fraternity of the entertainment fraternity, um, one of our comrades have faced a hard time losing their daughter out of domestic violence, out of the need for control. And I thought that it would be a great a great reasoning for us to do. So we here at the Powerhouse Radio, also we here at Reasoning Thursdays would just like to send our deepest prayers over to Ricky Trooper and their entire family that has gone through the loss of his daughter. And yeah, it's a sad time. It's a sad time when you can't even move when you want to. So we're going to be touching that. We're going to touch a little on the Dalai Lama situation that is going around, and yeah, we're going to touch that and just get a brief synopsis into the BRICS versus American dollar. Mama Ass is going to engage us on that. Queen, you were saying about the God, I thought I wrote it
Chip.
down. Say that again.
The chips.
Oh, the
chips in the
passports.
passport is
They have
Mexican.
some new passports that are out now, and there's some chips. So Queen is gonna enlighten us a little bit on that as well. Alrighty, but we're just gonna go right into it, and yeah, Mama asked us something to tell us about some leaked Pentagon documents, and yeah. So without a further ado, let's just go right into it. Why don't we? Well, we're back. We are here on the Powerhouse Radio. So, ladies and gents, lady and gent. All right, let's start this reasoning. So, what we're gonna start on? You all want to go hit the relationship factor, and
Hey, stop that. Why you sexing people? You need to just say people or DJs or hosts or guests.
who are you speaking to?
Don't sex your guests. I'm gonna start out with the woke thing. How about that?
How about what?
Don't sex your guests. Like when we come on, don't say ladies and gents. To just say people. Yeah,
I'm not
because
gonna.
you
I'm
don't know
gonna.
what people are doing, and we don't want to get accused of
I'm not.
sexism.
I'm not dealing with sexism. I know of there's two genders. So if there's anything further than that, I don't know of it. And so my greetings is
But I
to
want you to be a more forward speaker when we talking,
okay.
so we don't have to deal with
Let me
trolls. Because if the trolls come to me and they always give me issues about all kind of stupid stuff like that, people think that we are racist. People also sent me a note saying that they didn't think that we look at other people's points of view because it's always about what everybody else is doing, not about what's
Well, you
happening
know
with
what?
us.
Listen, you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. If anyone have us on speaker, take us off a speaker, please. If we can get off a speaker, yeah. You see, right there, that sound much, much better. Because I knew there's something that was giving a
Okay.
feedback. Yeah, that sound much better.
Okay.
The speakers being off. To each his own, you know, and everyone's gonna you can please some of the people summertime, you can't please all the people all the time, and everyone is entitled to their own opinions and their own belief, and I don't push down on anyone throughout my opinion and my belief, and neither do I feel like anyone should do the same to me. So
So you
I know
believe that we
of
should not allow air to flow through the conversation where people don't feel like we are specifically talking to a certain group of people? Oh, and
how I
yes,
would
this
But
feel.
goes across economic boundaries. So I got a letter from someone that I knew long time ago, but haven't talked to them in a long time, and they said that we don't like Jamaica, and we are always talking down about Jamaica, and that we think that the people who have invested the most in Jamaica are the biggest criminals. So I really hope that we plan to add that to the plate today, because I think some hotel owners are trash.
Okay, once again, I'm not I don't have time to sit and specifically address each and every one and each and every one concerned, because once again, everyone opinion is their opinion. And that is basically what reason is. It's your opinion. So my opinion on something is my opinion. If they want to feel, then that is their opinion. So I'm not trying to prove myself to anyone. We are bringing information that we know, information that is in the news, and we're reasoning on them. So
yeah, but
the
lady, I can't
stereotype,
understand how one would think that we're bashing Jamaica. I mean, we're just bringing the news, and it so happened that most of us have a Jamaican background. Coming, most of us are coming from Jamaican background. So therefore, when certain um, um, situation occur in Jamaica, of course we're going to touch on it, and we're going to, like you said, reason on it. We're going to reason on it. And again, as you said, each person's opinion is their opinion. You know, I know I love my country, and there are things happening there in my country that I do not agree with. And I think that people need to stand up and speak on it, and not just speak on it, but also act on it. And that's the way I look at it. So whoever feels that we are bashing Jamaica, I can't see it from the conversations we have had.
we just wasted 5 minutes of
No, we didn't.
trying to explain to someone what our intentions are. If this is not we didn't just come on the air. We've been on the air for a long time. So if a person has been following us and the contents, then right there it speaks for itself. So there's other more important things to talk about than person's perception on whom we are and what we represent. So big ups to Bars 100 bars, big up cuz, large up yourself. That's tuning in. So we were talking on the topic of relationship and the need for control. We should we start over Dalai Lama business, our BRICS versus the American dollar? Which one you all think we want to touch first?
Relationships.
All right, so we're gonna dive. Everyone's in agreement.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right, so we're gonna go on relationships, the need and control. Now, one of the Jamaican DJs, you know, back in the days, DJ, you know, and still to this day DJing, you know, a well-known Ricky Trooper. His daughter was killed, and from some of the reasoning that is going on is saying that she was trying to get out of the relationship that she was in, um and he must have did not want to let go of this relationship, and she brought concerns to her dad, and but he's saying that he never thought that it would have went this far, and so letting go, I would just like to know why persons cannot really just, if something is finished, if something is just not there, why you have to feel the need to control the situation, and this, if it's not your way, it is no way. Anyone care to pick
That,
that up?
there's a lot of friction in relationships that are just forming, and there's even more friction when the relationship has been going on for a while, and one of the partners feels the need to basically set all of the rules, I guess we should say, in the relationship. So in a lot of cases, when women start out agreeing to this type of control because they just want to be with the man, they don't realize that that's just the beginning. They don't realize that later that is going to set the tone for what is going to eventually end the relationship. I I'm just speaking from personal experience, and I'm sad that I have to speak from personal experience, but I want to say that if women truly love themselves first, they will stop engaging in this. Because if a man truly loves you, he cannot set rules for you. He can tell you what he might feel, but he can't tell you what to do. And if he does, then you need to look for your freedom.
But sometimes, Mama Ashley, sometimes you get into a relationship and the person does not start acting stupid until those things occur. You know what I mean? Some people, yes, some men are, not just men, but some women too. It is hard for them to let go. And not because that individual on that side decide that this is it, means that person is going to feel the same way. Counseling is very important. And I know that men don't like to go counseling, but sometimes that is very important for you to get somebody else's opinion that is not in that relationship to maybe help guide you. There's another individual here in America that he was a garbage truck driver. Last week, his daughter got killed also by her significant other. They did not have any issues in the past, but all of a sudden, this man decided that he's going to argue, and upon arguing, he ended up shooting her and killing her. So sometimes you don't know what is within a person's mind when you're with them, and it's not all the time you're going to see those signs, before these situations occur. So again, like Lady D said, what can we do about this? How can we approach this situation? And even especially with these young folks now, because they have a temper now that it's not easy to control. So what do we do? That's something
But
I'm
that
not. I'm
brings you.
lost. I don't know.
I think the respecter was saying something. Respecter, you was talking.
Yes, it's a very serious topic.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the reasons why I started writing songs like that. Walk away, put you first. And one of the biggest problems with young females is that the father, or some fathers, most fathers are not there. That is supposed to be. If there's a brother, uncle, the more male family that a female boyfriend or husband know about, I believe the less chance he would take in trying to put hands on her. If he gets the opportunity to meet a female brother who's gonna show toughness, the father show toughness, the uncle, even a good friend, he's gonna think twice before he puts hand on her. But not only that, some females are not really thinking because they challenge a man in dispute, word for word, sometimes even more vulgar than a man, and not realizing this man can do damage to me. Everybody's not level-headed. Everybody doesn't take insults easy. Some people take it to heart, and they will retaliate with violence. So I'm begging females to listen to music of upliftment. It's a whole lot of country music that teaches ladies, women, how to walk away.
Okay.
So is reggae.
But
100 bars says, wait a minute, one moment, Queen. 100 bars says, it sounds like a jealous rage. And we can't say what took place, but a lot of times a woman's mouth can turn deadly because of the things that come out their mouth. A man have to learn to take a walk. Then he also wrote, how can I join the chat? Well, if you want to, you could give us a call in at 706-955 2001. That's 706-955-2001. But I understand. Queen was gonna say something. Go ahead, Queen, before I go. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I was gonna say in Ricky Trooper's case, from he came out because I was watching a documentary with him not too long ago, and he finally came out and spoke about the situation. And from what he is saying, he had a very close relationship with his daughter and the gentleman that did this deed. So it's not, and plus he's a well-known singer, so they're DJ, so therefore a lot of people know him. So it's not about who is around you, what male figure is around you, or what male is dominant around you, but if the individual is going to do something, he's going to do it, I think, and it doesn't matter which male figure you have around or not.
And
I'm addressing with what Inspector said.
I definitely piggyback off of that, Queen. And I was going to say that when to the respecter as well, is that it doesn't deter one is evident, that it doesn't deter a man from hurting a woman, whether there's brothers or sisters, whatever it is, they could have been the baddest or baddest man, and that's not going to deter them. I feel it's something that a person needs to deal with, of letting go of control. And those are controlling individuals and selfish individuals. I feel that if I can't have you, no one else can have you. That's just a selfish mentality, and a person full of self. And I
Mhm.
think that that's a form of mental health as well, and yeah, I think it's a form of mental health, and I'm just wondering what are the signs of it. I think this is one I think we really need to bring in a psychologist on. I'm gonna see if I could get Miss Hinkson to come on. She's a psychologist, and talk a little bit about relationships and letting go. You know,
Mhm.
um, I think that is something that is very, very serious. Letting go.
So,
So you don't think
yeah.
it's a lot easier if either recognizes for the first time that, I've never seen this before, the way he or she's talking to each other, the loud voice, the profanity, the threats, the balling of our fists, grabbing something. You can't allow something violent to happen twice, coming from either one. If the woman do it to the man, he has to recognize that I can't allow this to be a second time. I'm seeing something I've never saw before, and I'm not going to put my life in danger. And vice versa. It's easy. You got to pay attention to each other. Anytime violence comes, you got to walk away. I've been put in
Yeah, but
position
sometimes it's
where,
not as easy
go
to
ahead.
walk away.
I know, but I've been put in position where, go ahead, hit me, and I realized right there and then it's over. God, that's a jail
Mm.
talk,
Okay, the number again is
and I'm not going.
706-955-2001. 706.
Can I respond to something that Respecta just said about people walking away?
Definitely.
Queen said it. Sometimes it's not so easy,
Easy.
and sometimes you're in a position where you and the person in the moment are going through some sort of, I don't even know how to describe it other than to say that it is such a tense moment that the person feels they have to force, one person feels they have to force the other person to do something. And if they don't, then they lose dominance in the relationship. That happens instead of the person realizing that the relationship should be built on a sharing of power. So when one person decides to assume control, that is the end of the relationship because that is authoritarianism. And, you know, men can dominate in a lot of ways, but physical domination is something that should never happen in a relationship. And if a woman tries to force a man into a position of being negatively physical with her, the man, for the right reasons, should say, nope, I'm not going to deal with this. And I think you should get some help and walk away for the right reasons.
Okay.
You know,
We
I want
have
to
a
say that women get into some things that are a little bit kinky because they think it's supposed to make them appear to be into some other sort of control factors, like this whole strangling thing. I'm sorry, but nobody is going to strangle me unless they're trying to kill me. And if they are, I'm going to react in kind because they would know better than to strangle me. So when people play those kind of games, they're playing with a gray area that somebody has to say, no, we're not going to participate in this. So until somebody says no, it could become a very dangerous situation, and there's no way to go backwards from that.
yeah.
Right now, I think the only thing that's gonna quench this is some type of law, some type of law, some type of something, where once you do this, there are consequences that you have to face. I mean, real serious consequences.
All right,
And maybe they'll start doing it.
both of you hold the thought.
Also, there's other kinds of things that happen to you when you're involved in a relationship and there's violence. Both parties can be arrested, and yes, it is a problem across the country. But because there's really no formal discussion or training on relationships, quite a few of us grow up just assuming that what we see on television is reality. We don't know reality because we've lived in a situation where reality was television for too long.
Hold on.
That's the problem.
Hold the thought. Call up. If you have us on speaker, I need you to take us off of speaker. And you can go ahead.
Yes, good night, everyone. First off, I know the young lady, and I don't know the guy personally, but I've seen him in a few parties here and there in the Bronx. But the first thing I want to point out is the age difference between both of them. He's 42 and I believe she's 23. Yeah. And the thing is, I don't know if, as I said, nobody was there to determine what happened or who was wrong. We know he was wrong because he took her life, of course. But at the same time, a woman's tongue is very deadly at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And this guy probably have it in his mind that, listen, I invest too much into her and, I'm just going to go ahead. If, as a lady B said, if I can't have her, no one can have her. So it's just like a jealous rage. He probably didn't even need to kill her. But at the time, the situation at hand, it probably was a fire and spark back and forth with argument, tongue lashing. And as I said, Ricky Trooper, he's a well-known selector. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's not what somebody know or who you know. As Lady D said, you could be the baddest of the baddest. It doesn't matter. When somebody make their mind up, they make their mind up. To take the young lady life, that's wrong on all levels. It's not a law that's going to change this. People have to change individually, both man and woman. Because you could put some of the strictest law out for this same kind of situation we're talking about, and nothing will happen. Nothing. But a person has to change within himself first before anything happens.
Yeah. That's
and how do we change this? Is it discussion like this or what? How?
Yes, more discussion like this, and and it's a lot to do with society today, because these elders is not teaching the younger kids no more, and these younger kids don't have no respect for the elders. So it's like two magnets going back and forth, pushing against each other. It's crazy.
Caller, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Respect. This is Mama Asid. Do you feel that, I don't know which, bless, and you bless, obviously, because you're here with us.
Yes.
So I'm curious, do you feel that some of this is happening because of the amount of Western influences? Because maybe when Jamaica started to ramp up even more so after, we've been talking about this for a while, after the basic importation of more Western culture by way of cable, that kids in Jamaica just started becoming prey because Western culture actually just killed all of the native influence where people had respect.
That's a great. I'm glad you asked that question, because me and my friends was talking about this a couple of months ago. Well, and we was back and forth at this for a couple of hours. Well, yes, it have a lot to do with that. This from Jamaica get cable, it been foreign eyes.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
not
definitely.
only Jamaica foreignized, the TV itself program these kids how to behave, how to talk.
Mhm.
They,
Yeah.
right now, they respect the TV more than they respect their parents. So how I see it.
Mhm.
And it's true. I was telling a lady earlier about the
That's true.
school,
Yes.
what is going on in the school in Jamaica, where they're kissing. You should see them in the classroom. They're saying the kids are taking over the classroom. You see them kissing and hugging and sealing up and all of that in the classroom. You know what I mean? Jamaica years ago, you couldn't do that. You
You couldn't
couldn't
do that.
disrespect the teacher. You know, and it is
And
influence. I think it is social media and all the
yes.
influences that are out there that's
And
affecting.
you see if we have more discussions like these on a wider scale, it will help more. You know, mediation. What happened to mediation? When I was growing up, when I was young in the Bronx, they had a lot of mediation after schools and stuff like that. They don't have them no more. The programs, they took them out. The parks that the kids have to go play, they shut them down. So it's systemic at the same time.
So
Yeah,
society created this problem, and they hyping the problem even more so by
oh yes,
removing the
oh yes,
resources to help to deal with it.
oh yes, yes. There you go, there you go. Yes, because I'm a victim of that too. Because growing up, I had a lot at my disposal. You know, my cousin and them, they had soccer team, we had basketball team, we had baseball team. There is none of that right now. If they do have it, you have to pay for it. When all of those was free at charge. When school give like summer break for the couple of months, they have youth program, the summer youth program that help out a lot of kids, including myself. That took me off the
Yes.
street.
Yes.
It's
PAL.
true.
You know,
It's true.
PAL. It was,
It's
yeah.
true.
they don't have those no
And it
more,
wasn't a
and
lot of money.
it's
You get
hurting.
40. It was like 49.95 you get per week, but it kept you in a program where there were supervision and people looking out for you and teaching you in the process. It's
Yes,
true.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
You
teaching
They
you
don't have
right
those
there
no
with
more.
you, showing you.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Because I
And
learned a
Right
lot
as
now.
through
I
those
said,
programs.
even the churches. Even the
Yeah.
churches had mediation classes, and you don't have to be on Sundays to talk to or try to figure your life out. Every day of the
Okay,
week, you could go to a church and get
okay. So,
counsel.
Yeah.
caller, let me throw one more thing at you.
Sure.
This is also still in that same issue with why people are outside of the bounds of normal moralism in relationships and even in relationships in general in public. So let's talk about how pedophilia is being normalized in the world because we just saw this thing this week. And I want to first say that thank you, Cardi B. I appreciate you saying something because none of the other people in entertainment said a word, even though they probably should have. And the way she spoke about it was so eloquent because she said, I told my children from when they are little, no one can go in the bathroom with you but mommy or daddy. And no one is supposed to ever touch you. And if anyone does anything to you, you tell mommy or daddy as soon as you can and make sure they listen and say, this happened to me. She says she told her children this and she tells them this on a regular basis, like when they're having lunch or if they're going somewhere or if they're out in public. She makes sure she reminds them on a regular basis because she said she does not want her kids to engage in the behavior that she engaged in as an adult when she was a stripper, talking about when she used to drug men and rob them. She said because that's not the right way to do things. So she wants to correct that in her own family before it even becomes an issue. So she said this is what people have to start teaching their children because it was wrong of the Pope to suggest to this little child that he should suck on his tongue. Now, I got some problems with the Dalai Lama for a long time, okay, on other types of issues, but this man is a moral and a religious leader to a whole lot of people in the world, because there are a lot of Buddhists in the world, and people think this man is a moral leader. Okay, last week the Pope said that it is okay, even though they take a vow of separatism and they take a vow to remain what they call chaste, which is where they're supposed to not have sex during the whole period of time, that they are supposed to be the bride or groom of Christ, which is why he condemned the pedophilia that's been going on in places like Baltimore and other large capitals in America, but he hasn't said anything about what's going on all over Europe. And pedophilia, we know, was rampant in all of the colonies wherever the Catholic Church is at, and it's still rampant. So I tend to think that some of the moralism that we are serving our children needs to be reserved to be a little closer to home, because we cannot expect the church, which we know is a corrupt organization from the very beginning, because they teach them mystery God tactics and teaching you about a non-existent devil that you will die if you do certain things. You cannot scare people into doing the right thing. You have to give them common sense and the ability to discern what's right from wrong. So you, as a parent and caller, I don't know that you're a parent, but if you are a parent, or if you were a parent, what would you do in terms of teaching your child about something like what that little boy experienced from the Dalai Lama?
Well, that's a good slow, man. I don't know how I would react if that was one of my kids, because as a kid growing up, my parents always teach me not to do this and not to do that, and we know right from wrong from when we're small. But these kids nowadays, they got like a lot of distraction, not just the TV. I'm talking about the food, the medicine, the air that we breathe, and everything, being attacked from all angles. And they're in school like 8-9 hours a day, and whosoever have the kids from their like 3 to like age 15 or 18, should I say, they control your kids, which is a school system. And it's not just a school system. We're talking about the music industry, the Hollywood. It have a lot to play with it. So we as a parent have to steer our kids right. We have to be the commander in chief for them until they reach the age of deciding on their own. And even then, we still have to teach them a few tricks.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you.
Very well said. Very well said. But unfortunately, we can't blame parents no more, because parents do what they can. And once their child or the children goes to school, go on the street, there's someone lurking, trying to teach them.
Not all parents. Not all parents.
Not all parents. I'm not saying all parents, but some parents. A lot of kids are easily led by money, fancy stuff, and they will forget what mommy and daddy said. And most homes, as we know, is just mother. So think about being a mother with 2 or more children and a little bit of money. It's very tough.
Yes, it is.
Now,
I can speak from personal experience.
I blame mostly in every country. I blame mostly government.
System,
also
yes,
blame the churches, because you can't just preach in a building and teach in a building. You got to do it on the street as well. There's nobody walking the street and being there for a young child. There's no walking to school every morning. There's no deacons, no pastors, nobody. And you got grown men looking at little girls, grown men looking at little boys, and the community knows this. But no one beat the crap out of those grown men. say let them slide.
There's also women
So-
too. Don't forget that. I got to speak up for equality. There are a lot like that teacher, that female teacher that had the baby for her 15-year-old student, and she is not in jail. That made my heart.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
you
this
see,
been going on forever too.
Well, we
True,
discussed that. We've
true.
discussed that
It's
several
just that
times as to the pedophilia that has been going on from Wapikid Philip. We talked about that
Yes.
as well. I know Queen, you was about to say something.
no, yeah. Well, go ahead, go on. I lost my train of
sorry.
thought a while ago. That's a
sorry.
part of control, though. When you talk about control and negative control in a relationship, that's one of the patterns of control. That's why I really thought it was important that we throw it in there, because it's a authority figure who is asserting control even in public over a child. That is grooming. And we need to stop societal grooming, because the people in the room should have rushed the Dalai Lama and dissected him.
And you know what?
I believe.
And you know what? Now they're making excuses. The Tibetans, how you call it? Tibetans say the Dalai Lama "Suck My Tongue" viral video is being misinterpreted. He's saying that someone has been trying to discredit the Dalai Lama for quite some time, and that sticking out your tongue is a traditional greeting that goes back to the 9th century. So even, so they're already trying to cover it up instead of just calling a spade a spade. It is, it is something that happened. You apologize. Not that, and don't do it again. Don't do it again.
That's the thing.
What I was
That's
going
the
to say
thing.
is technology. Technology has changed a lot of things. Years ago, you didn't, it wasn't normal for you to hear about children acting up in school like that and showing you pictures of them kissing and hugging and fondling each other and what have you, because we did not have that technology.
Well,
okay, so now that we have the technology, people are seeing more than they normally see. And because of that, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
that's okay.
we keep talking on technology and saying technology, and they're seeing things and they're seeing things. You have children in the rural areas who don't have they still don't have lights, and they still don't have certain thing, and a lot of them is doing the same things as well. It's the generation of people, because we are so
cell phone is all over.
A lot of what these children are seeing, they're emulating their parents. They're emulating the neighborhood and the area that they are in.
That's
right. That's what they're emulating. And yes, I'm not saying that they're not watching videos and stuff like that, but it's the sole cost. I barely, I can't remember knowing that my parents was in the room making love. My mom dressed a certain way, carried herself a certain way, and as generation to generation goes on, we change. There's certain things I could never ask. I would never even dreamed of asking my mom, much less to let her see me smoke, much less to cuss a bad word, in front of my mom. The children of today, as I've said before, have parents who are trying to be their friends.
True.
And they are not.
That's part of it, lady. But it's not everybody that is trying to be friends where the kids acting up and doing things. You have parents that are still strict, parents that are still doing what they normally do years ago, and this is occurring. And I was watching a documentary the other day, and that's exactly what they were talking about. the cell phone being in all rural areas now, and these children are watching these programs on the cell phone. Okay, they're watching what's that? TikTok. They're watching Facebook. They're watching all of these things. They're watching, and these things are not. They have some filtered, but not all of them do. And they're seeing these things acting out. Okay. It's not everybody has a TV, but they do have a cell phone, and they can access these things on the cell phone. And I was watching that program, and I'm telling you that it is a fact that this is contributing to a lot of the problems we're having now. They need to monitor these programs that are being presented on these media outlets.
Okay, go ahead, Carl.
Let me add to you to what Queenie was saying. Basically, kids would do anything for some clout nowadays. Anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it happen on a daily basis.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
the next
from shooting to try to get try to look cool, try to stop traffic.
Well,
I'm talking about the whole nine.
Look at this new one that they're doing. A speeding car is coming at them, and they're going to run to try to jump over the cars. I mean, like, how stupid can you get?
It's not even that. You know, from when I said the society is gone. Remember that crate challenge?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know how much people broke bones and people still went ahead and tried it. I mean, I've seen it happen so much in the Bronx. All I had to do was just sit there and just watch and laugh, because it's like, if you try to tell them don't do it, they're gonna be like, nah, I'm gonna do it. He's recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Boy, we haven't
from that camera come out. Yeah, common sense is gone nowadays. In America, right is wrong and wrong is right now.
Well, we have a lot of issues, and
as Lady D said earlier, they try to legalize pedophilia like it's okay. It's like, it's crazy. This world is upside down.
Okay,
Matter of fact, they're
Kansas
not trying to.
In Missouri, this week,
12,
and they discussing legalizing marriage of 12 and 13-year-old girls, but they can't decide until they're 18 if they want to be able to legally leave the state, which is now illegal also, if they want to have an abortion, even if they are raped or a victim of incest. You could get married, but you cannot decide if you need to have an abortion or medical care if something happens to you.
Until you're 18.
How does that work until you're 18 years old? You also can't vote until you're 18.
So what you're basically saying, that the kids are the parent right now, and the parents are the kids. That's how the government put it right now, because
well, we are all over on discussion today, which is a good thing.
You brought this.
No, I said it is a good thing.
You said control.
Lady,
we got it, didn't we?
No. Yeah, we touching the topics that need to be touched, though.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. It's a good thing. I said we all over, but it's a good thing. And in the midst of being all over, we're touching each one of the topics that are on the list to touch.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's still all geared towards what we're talking about, our discussion. It's just that we broadening it.
That's what I'm saying. And it's a good thing.
Yes.
And it's definitely a good thing, because our children are our future. And we definitely have to discuss them.
These kids with these guns. Okay? Can we just give 1 minute towards what happened in Tennessee and how it went full circle? They kicked out these 2 young Democrats, and they had to bring them back a week later.
Right.
They didn't have any choice. They thought they would have a choice because they were white men. But guess what has come out about the leader of the Senate in Tennessee is not just a child, a pet. Look, okay, these people are alleged pedophiles. These people are sitting up in the very state house with fraud, people who have allegedly committed fraud, people who have committed other crimes and actually been convicted of them, and they're sitting there, but they are getting rid of two young men who are fighting for the lives of other young Tennessee people, not just young Tennessee people, but Tennessee people in general. And to think they got rid of them under the rules of decorum, which under the rules of decorum, they were not supposed to shut off their microphones. But they do it every single day. When they talked about that, why has there not been any real discussion about that? They were put into that position that they are in by the people in their districts who felt that they needed that type of representation. And by removing it, not only were they saying to those people, that 150,000 people, that they didn't count. Now, you're going to tell 150,000 people in Shelby County, Tennessee. That is Memphis, y'all. Memphis. They told Memphis, you don't count. Guess who contributes the majority of taxes to the state of Tennessee? Memphis. Okay? Yep. So if we're going to talk to people in a certain way, let's talk to them with a real reason. So right now, Tennessee is a test case for a lot of different problems. The very fact that this trans person went into a private Christian school and killed these people, 6 people, and they are using those 6 people as a reason instead of all the other people that we could go down a list and name that were killed in Tennessee. And we're not going to even get into that. That type of control by white supremacy is inbred into our, not just our communication systems and our legal systems and our voting systems, but our judicial systems. Right now, we're looking at Clarence Thomas sitting on the Supreme Court after having dates with Trammell Crow executives. Okay? How can we even allow these people to not be recalled? And who is going to say, don't recall them? Every single one of them has thrown enough dust at us that we should have disappeared a long time ago. But guess what? We are our ancestors' biggest dream, and now we are their nightmare.
It's not even that. The system spends trillions of dollars per year just to separate us, just for us not to get together and share our thoughts like how we're sharing right now. So, yes, I'm with you on that. On a broader scale, worldwide, the system is in control of every aspect of our life. But we're the smart ones that could look out and see what's going on. You know, everybody don't think like us. Everybody don't talk like us. What we think and see as good for other people, they may see it good just for them, not for nobody else. You know? And again, the system have a lot to do with this. System, the court, the school, the everything. The doctor offices, it's slavery. We know this, but without the chain. But it's one just to break free from the mind slavery, you know, but everybody is not capable of doing that. And yes, we want to help the ones that are blind, but when you try to, extend a reaching hand and lend it to them and say, listen, I'm here to help you. They're the same one that turn around, cuss you and belittle you, you know? So it's like, again, a person has to change because one cannot change them. You can't force a water. I asked the guy the water, but you can't force him to drink.
Okay.
I've said it many times since I've been coming on the show that white folks are designed. They take the time to sit around the table, hold their meetings, and make their plans. And their plans always involve us some of us who are licky, who end up in positions and then got in positions just to please the white folks because they join with the white folks to bring down and keep down black folks. And I've been wanting to say this earlier, that parents, the ones who are really trying to keep their kids in order, in line, a lot of them end up in jail.
Yep.
Because you can't.
Oh my God! You hit the nail right on the head.
You know,
I have a friend right now going through that.
Yeah, they call police. They go to school, tell the teacher. Teacher call police. Teacher don't call the parents no more. They call the police right away.
Yeah.
And you're getting yanked out.
Caseworker.
Well, you see, the thing is, the system, everything intertwines. And
yes,
I've been going to different therapists and whatever because of my back pain, and that sort of opened up my understanding of seeing how the country is run. Everything intertwines. All these doctors they refer you to, they're all in a pool. And what they do is they make it seem like it's necessary for you to go to these different doctors, not knowing that I understand that it's all about the money trail.
Right.
You're going to get a cut. You're going to get a cut. You're going to get a cut.
Yep.
And they have to do this in order to keep the economy flowing freely. You see what I'm saying?
No,
so everybody has to get something out of it. Yes, they have to get their cut out of it. So everything that is done within the system, that's the way it is done. It's all intertwined, and everything matches everything. And we're going to talk about the situation that is going on now with that chips within the passport, and I'll tell you all a little bit more about it, and that will show you how much control the government has on us.
So go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead and hit it.
Yes.
You want to go into it?
Yeah, go ahead and
okay. All right. What happened is now it's not just Jamaica, but it's right across the board. They're coming up with chips within the passport. Now, this chip, you cannot identify it, and they're not telling anybody where it is within the passport. Now, if you have a regular passport, it is still valid. It is valid for the next 20 years. After 20 years, you have to have a new passport with that chips within. And what they're doing it just like they did with the ID. Remember when they changed the ID over where you had to have a certain ID now? Okay. Well, that's what they're going to do with also with the passport. And what they're using, this you hear that word using, is the fact that this is protecting you, the consumer. They're not saying it's protecting them. They're saying it's protecting you, the consumer, from identity fraud. Okay? Okay. PICA, that's the Jamaican branch of immigration. What they're doing is that they're enforcing this now. So they already have that system in place, and they are, if you go into apply for a passport now, that passport have that chips within it. Now, remember years ago, they used to talk about placing chips in people's forehead or arm or whatever to identify you. Well, that's the same process. It's not in your body, but it is in your documents. It's in maybe even the doggone food you're eating. I'm serious. That's why these kids are going crazy out there. Who knows? But the system is there toward protecting themselves and not the consumer. So that's what they're doing. They already started it, and it's not just Jamaica. It's right across the board. And like I said, within the next 20 years, they said, this is going to be mandatory that you have to have that chip within the passport or you cannot go into any country.
And that's when people need to start.
It's a way of tracking It's just it's
It
a
is
way
a
of
way of
tracking,
tracking you. It
you
is a way of
know.
tracking you. But you see, they're making it seem like they're protecting you.
Yeah, definitely.
You see
No,
what
but
I'm
it's not
saying?
only to
That's
track
how
you.
they're
It's
turning
not
it.
only to track you. It's to control. It's also to control your
Control of
financial
you.
aspect of the part.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a
because they
form of
could limit it. They
control.
could stop you. Yeah, they could stop you from flying. It's
Yeah.
just like the new currency that they're coming out with right now. If you're trying to save your money, you can't because it have an expiration date on it.
Oh,
So
really?
us people need to
Wait,
start going back
I never
from
heard
step
that
one.
one. I've never heard that
No,
one.
I'm telling you, yes, the new currency that they're coming out with right now, it has an expiration date on it. Meaning, if you have $100,000 in the bank, you have to use that before that expiration date hit because the government will seize that. And you could go look this up. This is public information, and it's crazy that a lot of people don't go back and study their constitution because it's in the constitution to say when your government is behaving bad, it's up to the people to overthrow them and find a new one. But guess what? These people are in a trance. You know,
Yeah,
if
like a
we think
matrix.
that, yeah, we're in a trance. A lot of them are in a trance. I can't even say we
That's the
because a lot
Second
of them
Amendment.
snap out of it.
It's
You
like a
just you
matrix.
just
And
read what people don't understand about the Second Amendment. That's the reason for the Second Amendment.
exactly, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And if a lot of people just sit down and just take a breather and do some research sometime, a lot of them will be living better because a lot of them right now are just living off of ignorance and what they
I got a question.
watch or yes.
Let me take a 2 minute, just a quick 1 minute station break. Hold the thought. You're in tune right here to Reasoning Thursdays each and every Thursdays right here on the Powerhouse Radio, streaming live as well on the Victorious 89.1 FM radio right here in the ATL area.
Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.
Victorious 89.1 WAKP. Your unity in the community station.
The Hinkson Firm's mission is to provide superior legal service in the areas of family law, child welfare law, general legal services, and mediation by keeping convenience of the clients at the forefront. The Hinkson Firm's goal is to eliminate the stress of an already intense situation in your life by coming directly to your workplace and or a location close to your home for consultation, meetings, and mediation. The Hinkson firm customized legal attention based on the needs of each client while treating every client with the dignity and respect they deserve, while fighting strongly and fiercely for justice and their legal rights. The Hinkson firm can be reached at 470-499-4704.
We invite you to be sure to go and log on to our YouTube channel at DA Powerhouse Radio and definitely like, subscribe, or share. And if you are receiving the links, share. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell a friend and a family member. Want to say big shouts to all of our sponsors for Reasoning Thursday and also for the Powerhouse Radio. We definitely appreciate the support that we are given. Also, right here, be sure to listen to Let's Scribe each and every Wednesdays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. with Tonya, Marcus, and McKenna. And also, just like you're doing right now, be sure to listen to Reasoning Thursdays each and every Thursdays from 8 p.m. with yours truly, Lady D, Mama Acid, the Respecta Queen. Tell a friend and a family member that we are here each and every Thursdays, bringing you the hottest in topic reasonings. All right, and no topic is untouchable right here on Reasoning Thursday. We agree to disagree. Big people things. Be sure to listen to the Lady D show each and every Saturdays from 12 p.m. up until the 4 o'clock hour, where you get your news, views, interviews, And your joke of the day, what you know about it, did you know? And nothing but the best in the music each and every Saturdays. As we go back to our program, going back to our programming, Reasoning Thursday. Alrighty, you all. We are back. And
Yeah.
I think that
Yes.
we cut off with the Respecta speaking. Go ahead, Respecta.
Have you guys noticed? Have you all noticed powdery scent?
Your echo,
Now you're into a department store. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what would you
I
Yeah,
didn't
we
say?
get
can hear you,
that.
Mr.
Go ahead again. Mhm.
Have you noticed a powdery scent each time you go to the mall or department store, Lowe's or Home Depot? Is this powdery
Like
scent
smell
that is in department stores?
Okay, going to the
And
pottery
I
stores.
recently found,
Okay.
yeah, it smell like Johnson and Johnson powder.
Uh-huh.
And I recently smelled it on a young man, and I said, man, what kind of, and he said, oh, there's some guy going around giving them out. And without thinking, people are using it. And I was able to speak with a white gentleman one day that said that's another way of doing the vaccine. They mentioned it on the news that there were other ways of applying the vaccine to people.
We will use
I'm
the
telling
V. We'll have to use the V word, and when we're speaking of the V, and we have to use the
Yes.
C word when we're speaking of the C because they will, cut our programming. Okay.
Like, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Go,
My bad.
that's all right. Go ahead. Go ahead. The respect.
It's just an unusual scent that anytime I smell it, I walk away. And I'm kind of disgusted by it.
What, the baby
And I'm
powder?
hoping it's wrong.
The baby smell? Baby powder?
It smells stronger than, it smells like a mixture of powdery stuff and oil and, all different scent. Just very strong. It hits your nose. The moment you walk
Right now there's a lawsuit out there pertaining to the talcum powder, right? And you can be compensated because they found that it's causing cancer, or it has caused cancer over the years.
Yeah.
So now they have a suit out where you can be compensated if you end up with cancer or what have you. In conjunction with that powder, that talcum powder.
Yeah, that suit
But
has been out for some while.
The government they're doing so much. I didn't even know that there was a facial recognition thing when you go to the airport. They don't tell you of it. But what they're saying is that there's a lot of physical and digital security that applies to you when you're traveling. I didn't even know that they did that. They're recognized, they're doing facial recognition, and we don't even know. You see, when you go in that booth where they check you, they're checking facial recognition.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever asked?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever asked?
Ask why they're doing this? What do you?
Yeah.
Ask
because
what?
Definitely they're not going to tell us. So we
they're
are
not
doing a lot
gonna
of
tell
stuff.
us.
We're doing a lot of things as citizens, and we're not asking any questions. So that's the reason why
True.
they're getting away with a lot of what they're doing.
Yes.
That's what the inspector said about not just inspector but also our guests. They mentioned about talking about these things because this is something that never entered my mind that they're doing facial recognition until I was watching that program this afternoon. Then when they were talking about all of this going on with the chip, and that was one of the things that they mentioned about the facial that they have been using. That's what he said. He said they have been using these instruments in identifying people. And
Your phone.
yes, and that's what they're saying. They're using digital and physical identification, and part of it is facial recognition.
All right. How much of you guys right now have a phone that use a fingerprint biometric?
Exactly. I don't use it. I haven't used it. Yeah.
Exactly, or facial recognition. And
Yeah.
guess what? And yes, you could disable it. And guess what? Even though you disable it, it's still active. It still pick up your fingerprint when you press the phone.
Yeah. It's
Sure.
serious.
Yes,
It's a
yes, you
serious
still
thing,
pick it
you
up.
know. It is a serious thing. It is 9:27 on the Powerhouse Clock, streaming live as well on the Victorious 89.1 FM radio. With all of the technologies and all of that's going on in this world, what do you all make of the BRICS versus the American dollar and the bank recessions and World War III threat of World War III and all of that?
Yes. Well, they did that because the American dollar is collapsing. You know, it's
Is it?
collapsing, so that's why they're bringing in this new currency. So they have to raise war and say the war caused the dollar to collapse.
You really think the American dollar is collapsing, or they're just trying to? They're
I don't
doing a
really think, I don't
facade.
really think so. I really know so.
Okay. Okay.
You know, so I go because hey, first, what they call this bank? Bank of America. That's the first one that
Yeah.
collapsed.
Yeah.
And then Citibank, and then our chain start collapse. Come on now, and then we have chemical spills all around the nation. No, something is wrong. And then North Korea is supplying Russia, so something is going on. It's about to, and then the American president just signed war declaration, but
But you
this
know,
non-compounding,
that
this isn't coming on the news.
Well, can I jump in?
Sure.
The Respecta is gonna say something, then Mama Ass is gonna jump in. The Respecta, you were
America
saying
do
something.
not want to pay America's debt. They're finding every way possible because America owes just about every country trillions of dollars. And not only that, a lot of things they're doing is basically to crush us black folks. All these new houses going up in Georgia, apartment buildings. Think about it. The price, the hike in mortgage and rent and all that. There's no black folks got the lowest paid job in the world. And if we can afford to pay these $2,000 rent, mortgage, what we're going to do? We're going to turn against each other to survive. That's the kind of World War III they're planning. It's going to actually be
us against ourselves.
Us against us.
Started already.
Hey, they just passed a law down here in Florida. What's his name? DeSantis. You don't need a permit. You don't need background check or nothing like that to get a weapon.
We want to touch that.
No weapon.
Yeah, we want to touch that because that has also happened.
Oh, yeah.
Is the same thing that's going on here in Atlanta. But go ahead, Mama Acid. You wanted to jump in.
Okay, I wanted to say two things. One, the president of the United States cannot sign a declaration of war without it coming from first Congress and second the Senate. It has to be ratified and voted into a declaration before it can be presented to the president to sign it. So that is wrong. Second thing about...
But he's the only one that could veto it.
He's the only one that can veto it if it was proposed. It has not been proposed. Can you tell me when it was proposed? Because there's been no proposal of any declaration of war. And in fact, let me ask this question since you said that, because that touched on an area that I've been doing a lot of reading on. And I'm really glad that you mentioned it because I didn't plan to. What is it And who is it that this declaration of war would be declared against? Who is it specifically?
Yeah. Who is it? Yeah.
China.
Well, the American.
No, let him answer, please.
Well, the American people.
Okay, brother.
A declaration
okay.
of war against the American. A declaration of war against the American people.
Yes,
Black
against
American.
That doesn't sound right.
Yes, the smart cities that they're putting up. I'm talking about physical warfare, germ warfare. I'm talking about chemical warfare. All of these warfare. So what going wrong with? I just mentioned the chemical spill all across the state.
Okay, if we're going to get into those areas, we need to get into them specifically because I do have some thoughts on some things, but that's not how it plays out, especially on this show. We go subject by subject. So if we're going to throw that on the table, can we throw it on the table for next week and you come back, which will give us all a chance to do some thinking on it, because that's why we call it reasoning, because we like to reason by having some chance to be able to ruminate and gather some knowledge.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yes,
You were saying that the president signed. It's alleged that the president signed some declarations against the people, U.S. people,
black and Spanish, yes,
black. Okay, and so, all right. So we need to research that and find out what that's all about. Go ahead and elaborate on what you were saying with the BRICS and versus the American dollar, Asid.
Okay, I wanted to also correct something that he was saying. He didn't explain what the BRIC is. The BRIC is part of the EFT, Electronic Funds Transfer Unit. That means that the new currency that's also being created, electronic currency that's being created by the World Bank, the Fed, the U.S. Fed, the currency is going to be called the Fed. Okay, so it's called the Federal Equation Dollar. And the reason they named it that is because they wanted to be a floating currency. Floating currencies value and revalue by the day. They don't set a rate based upon gold. They value and revalue based upon the equation for the day in terms of the valuation of whatever it is that marks the value of this particular fund. So in this case, the BRIC, I wrote about this last night, and if you don't mind, I'd like to read what I wrote because I think it's kind of interesting and it will give us a little bit of another side view. But I also want to explain that they're establishing this bank, which is called the NDB, the New Development Bank. It's a multilateral development bank, and it's going to be providing loans to developing countries. So the BRIC has already been a major force in global economy in the recent years. It hasn't just come about, okay? The BRIC countries are Brazil, Russia, India, and China. That's what BRIC stands for, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. They are four of the world's largest emerging economies, and they've been growing rapidly in the most recent years. They have a combined population of over 3 billion people, and they account for over 25% of the world's GDP. Now, listen, that's 25% of the world's GDP distributed between Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Okay, where's the other 75%? I can tell you that 50% of it is based on the euro. Okay, and the other 25% is based on the US dollar. So the BRIC will only be worth par to the US dollar, which is half of what the euro is worth. Most of us don't have a comparison view like that because we're not looking at how the global economic boom is playing out in terms of all the oil and other factors. What was the BRIC actually set up for? It was set up to neutralize the World Bank's hold over these countries that had lots of natural resources, such as oil, gas, timber, all these natural resources, okay? These are the resources that America and other like the euro have been draining. The USD and the euro have been draining these resources. So they decided what we'll do is we'll take back our goods and we will export our goods and services to these countries instead of them coming in and taking them for little or nothing. Okay, so it's a development bank. And we need to be looking at what that development bank will mean in the coming 25 to 50 years. Okay, I'm not going to make a financial projection that far. I'm going to say that what I'm seeing now is that it is helping to reduce global poverty and inequality. One of the things we saw recently was that it led to the effect of when certain European countries decided they were going to stop exporting Russian oil because of the war that Russia is engaged in with the Ukraine. It didn't mean that Russia's economy had to shut down. It meant Russia shifted to a different set of trading partners, and who joined them? Part of OPEC. Iran sat down at the table with the UAE, Saudi Arabia, in China in order to get the oil that they needed. And Russia wasn't even at the table, but they were at the table because these are BRIC countries, China, negotiating for the rest of the BRIC countries. Okay? So when you can't get along with your next door neighbor, it doesn't mean that the lady across the street and your next door neighbor aren't already on a good relationship. So maybe what you need to do is talk to that person and get them to talk to the other person if you can't talk to them. And this is what people need to understand that needs to have happened in the Caribbean 25 years ago. If the Caribbean wants to pull out of colonialism and get the Queen's face off of its money, it has already happened in Barbados, and their economy is booming. Okay? It's booming because people want to go to Barbados. Jamaica has a negative stigma attached to it for 3 recent reasons. One, we have, of course, the banking scandal. Then on top of that, we got the savings and loan scandal with the credit union. They stole $12 million from Usain Bolt. And, you know, who could trust a banking system that would do something like that? Well, everybody else ignored all of what they had already been doing in the banking system because it was already defrauding millions of customers' dollars for 10 years. After that, NCB had been doing that for so long that it had become part of what was expected when businesses put their money into the bank in Jamaica, which is why so many businesses were moving their money away from Jamaica into institutions in places like St. Lucia. Why would you take your Jamaican dollars all the way to St. Lucia in order to make sure that they were safe? Why? Because here's a prime example. When Jamaica received the money from Venezuela for, okay, I'm going to go there, Petrojam, $10 million in capital came in, along with $50 million in raw oil. The oil was processed and sold. Venezuela didn't get a dollar of it. In addition to that, the $10 million that they paid for the processing, they didn't get a dollar of that refunded. Under their new government, all of it should have come back to them. Jamaica was a safe haven, but what did it do? It took the money and it actually turned it into other type of capital that drew the Chinese into play, and then they allowed other people within the country who are engaging in other types of financial crimes, such as real estate crimes, to go ahead and control the port. So you let the port and the airport and the seaport all of the incoming ports for all of the cruise ships be controlled by outside entities instead of the government of Jamaica. Have mercy, sweet Jesus. Rastafari, come for me.
Mama Asid.
Yeah.
You're right. But guess what? Chavez, the Venezuelan president at the time, he said it for his own self. He didn't want back anything. He did that to keep the U.S. from sending in heft into Jamaica.
No.
Oh yes, he did say that.
That's
oh yes,
not
he did
why
say
it
that.
happened. That's not why it happened.
No,
when
I didn't
the
say
money
that's why it
showed up,
happened.
Let me
No,
tell
I
you
didn't
what
say that's why
happened
it
because I
happened.
want you to
Wait a
understand.
minute. He
I don't want
said,
you to
wait
carry
a
this
minute.
false.
Mama Acid. He said that he's not telling you that that's what happened. Listen to what did you say, caller?
I was saying Chavez said out his own word, his own word. He said he don't want back any refund. He will send all the equipment and plus give Jamaica the $10 million to process the oil and sell it back. He don't want nothing back. He said that, and to keep the U.S. out from Jamaica of sending Hess into Jamaica because Hess was about to go to Jamaica and process that oil.
Okay.
No, that's not what happened, caller. Let me give you the
Okay,
history.
what did you feel that
You need the
happened?
history because we got the history from when this happened, when it first started. Okay, we got the history from the day that it was sent to Jamaica, from the day that it arrived and went directly to Petrojam.
I didn't
They didn't need
follow
to
it,
send
so I
any.
can't rebuff because I didn't follow it. But go ahead.
Hess was never involved in any side of the Jamaican side of the deal, and the reason that they sent it to Jamaica was because when Venezuelan oil processing facilities were damaged due to their involvement with the CIA. Okay, the CIA. All of this happened because they couldn't send the oil to Trinidad because they would have sent it to Trinidad. But remember that the CIA can't go to Trinidad. Where did they send it? Where the CIA can go, Jamaica. Okay, so if we're going to tie it all together, let's use the rope that extends from one country to another country that can't go to the third country because they can't do anything there. When Trinidad became independent, it told all the other countries around it, including Jamaica, join us now so that we can be just like Grenada and we don't have to do the sacrifice again because they're going to kill our head of state and you will be free afterwards. We will sacrifice Jesus for you. And you know what happened? I want to remind you, Michael Manley said, we need to do this now. And you know what they did? They said, shut up, Manley. We want Siaga to bring the CIA back so that we can have guns and we can have money flowing and we can have the black market. And then the election happened. Do we remember the election? How could we forget the election? Okay.
You're a bad woman.
I was a little
bad woman.
Good night, Donna. Big up yourself. Donna says good night, all. Yeah. So let's bring back to the BRICS versus American dollar. Is the American dollar crashing?
The BRIC will never be versus the American dollar. It will be its own separate bank under the World Bank.
So would it be? So would it be better?
The U.S. dollar is the strongest instrument on the whole globe. Let me tell you why. Because it is backed by land, real estate. That is the only thing that backs the U.S. dollar, is backed by real estate. And do you know who also backs their currency by real estate? Two other countries that we just talked about, China and Russia. And do you know what Russia doesn't have now? Liquid capital in order to run their war. Do you know where they're getting it from? They're getting it from who? From India and China and Brazil. Yeah. Because Brazil is broke. Brazil is broke as a joke. They showing you a picture with Lula standing in the picture with these other criminals. Instead of showing you not Lula, they showing you Bolsonaro. So why are they showing you Bolsonaro when Lula is the president? Lula has never said one time that he agreed to this. This happened when Bolsonaro was president. And let me also say this about that. Those who don't understand why Brazil is not part of the CARICOM compact as it should be, okay, it's for the same reason that Trinidad is not, because they are unfortunately let me just say the word, they are unfortunately the stepchildren of colonialism, okay? Trinidad broke itself off by being able to establish its own way to be able to become a third world, listen to this now, a third world patriarchy. They are so rich in Trinidad that when I'm going to talk about this. When they had everybody else shut down, Trinidad was so rich they still had carnival and people were on yachts. We aren't going to even talk about Trinidad because Trinidad is the richest black country in the globe, on the entire globe right now.
So
Trinidad
American,
has more black money than
What?
any other country on the globe.
Wow.
so American
All right,
funds will
all right.
continue. So
You're talking
American
about
funds.
currency rise?
So
I'm talking
American.
about value and currency. Their stock market
No,
is bigger than Jamaica's. Jamaica's stock market
no, I'm
is
not
built
saying
on
no.
debt. Jamaica's stock market is built on debt, and it is very active. But you know whose stock market is built on currency? Trinidad. That's why it's built
No,
on gold.
but the richest Caribbean country is still Haiti, no matter what.
No, it's Trinity. Listen. Let me explain something to you. Haiti's debt is all.
No, I'm not talking about the debt. I'm talking about land wise. The mountains is uranium.
Do you know that 2 to 3 times the actual value of Haiti debt? I know this is gonna make you mad when I say this, and I don't like to say it, but I'm gonna just go on and tell the truth. Is the Dominican Republic, because the majority of the mountain is the Dominican Republic. That's why they keep Haiti on that side of it. Because once you cross, you are no longer a citizen of Haiti or the Dominican Republic. You don't have a passport, and you can't go in either direction. You are just basically known as a Reykjavik. You know what a Reykjavik is? Everybody's slave. How do I know this? I have been there and done the research. Physically, brother.
Again, I'm not talking about the slave
Okay, wait a
thing.
minute,
I'm not talking
Acid.
about the
Go
slave
ahead.
thing.
I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about
what
the
Acid,
wealth. I'm not talking about
Acid,
the natural wealth that they
Acid.
can't access.
Could we let him talk for a minute? Go ahead. You go ahead and state what
I'm talking about the mountains, the uranium mountains. One truckload of that is $26 billion. One truckload of that. $26 billion. Uranium.
Do you know how much uranium is in Jamaica? Do you know how long we've been talking about the uranium in Jamaica? Do you know when we discussed the uranium detector coming to Jamaica? Lady D was at what, 2010, 2011, somewhere up in there?
Yeah, that's why they're excavating the Blue Mountain. I know this. But Haiti.
Hey, Mama.
Mountain.
I'm at it.
Yeah.
I'm at it.
Yeah, I'm here.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what made Haiti the richest if it's so. It's not the same as Trinidad, because Haitians are not benefiting from one dime of what's going on in Haiti. Trinidadians are benefiting from the riches that's there. What's going on there?
Talk about
different. It. Yeah. I wouldn't even mention Haiti, because Haiti right now is a sad story to the whole world because of racism. It's just a wickedness that's been done to the country of Haiti.
And why is Jamaica so true?
Switzerland is right there with America.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think Switzerland might be richer than America.
Well, it's possible.
You know why? Because remember, Switzerland doesn't have any debt. America has debt. Switzerland has no debt. People don't know that. Most people do not realize that Switzerland is one of the only countries in the world that has.
Yeah, and that's why the banking system there is so prevalent in keeping people's money safe. That's why everybody puts their money in the Swiss banks. In the Swiss banks.
It's 9:50. It's 9:50 on the Powerhouse clock. We're gonna get ready to wrap it up. Question: what do you all think about the indictment of Trump? Anybody want to take
one word? Can we just say one word? Yeah. Everybody else could go. I'll go last.
Anyone want to touch it?
Well, Trump.
About time.
Yeah,
say that. Okay, quick. Let me call each one's name. Queen, go ahead. What do you think about Trump?
I said it's about time if it's gonna stick. But look, everything right now is a play. Everything is planned. Everything is. You don't know what to believe nowadays, honey child. But let me tell you something. If it is so, then it's about time, and hopefully this will stick.
The Respecta, go ahead.
It's not just Trump. It should be a lot of Republicans as well that get indicted. And he's not going to serve a day in jail.
Cuz, go ahead.
Well, I can't go against Trump, and I can't go against the system because the system is crooked just like him. So it's just all scripted as we said earlier.
Say it again. Say it again.
Wait a minute.
All scripted. You see.
Donna they locked me up too. Donna, wait a minute, Donna. We'll get back to that in just a minute. But Donna said they locked her up too. What the heck? All righty. Okay, so Mama Asid, go ahead.
Okay, so let me just talk about one little thing, the word conspiracy. Okay, that is one of the words that when you see that in any of the charges, anywhere in the charges, that automatically means you're convicted. Because there's no way to be able to fight conspiracy. Conspiracy is a thought. All they have to do is play a corresponding video clip of you saying something that you thought you might want to do. Like, I thought that America cheated on the election, so I thought I had to do something about it. That is actually all they need to have in order to convict you. And if they have 35 felonies in just one case, we won't even talk about what AG Letitia James is serving up on her $200 million lawsuit against Donald Trump. We haven't even gotten around to what Jack Smith is going to do. And I just want to remind y'all, the Georgia Peach, the Fulton County AG, whose feet will never touch the ground again. Can y'all help me say her name? Dr. Fannie Willis Esquire is going to be the one who is going to bend him over and knock the Cheeto dust out of him.
All right,
Well, they
so what you all are saying is that, well, for what you're saying, Mama Asid, is that you feel he's going to jail. You really think he's going to jail?
A few jails. I don't think when he goes to jail that he'll be coming back out. And I think that what he's doing right now, because he is committing wire fraud on a daily basis by asking people to help him raise money for a case that he is no longer pursuing, that is why they added this $200 million lawsuit today. That is the icing on the cake that he created. Because if he had just stopped asking people to give him money to fight a case that he has already decided he is no longer going to court on, that in itself is wire fraud. And yes, I am still rewriting the words to Rico Suave because I do plan to perform it on the day that he goes to jail.
I'm glad to see that. You know, I really have to see it to believe it. You know, to be truthfully, I have to see it.
But Lady D, I want to also remind you, you are right, because he can still run for any office in the land while he is a convicted felon behind bars. That does not prevent him from running for president or holding the office, being locked up in jail. So there's another flaw in the system that we need to start pushing towards fixing, as well as fixing the impeachment remedies, which we still haven't finished talking about that because I still have all the information. And I did finally do that study about what happens when impeachment actually happens twice. What are the penalties? And the penalties are exactly the same as the first time. They tell you impeached. Okay, so if
the only thing that's going to happen,
y'all were impeached. You know what that means? All of y'all are impeached now. I have just impeached everyone. In fact, I'm gonna impeach myself. I'm gonna impeach myself twice. Y'all ain't like me. I got to have it. Okay. In fact, I might need to impeach myself a third time. I think I'm gonna impeach myself because I'm gonna say this is absolutely the last thing we should talk about. But I want to just say one thing. The boy that they locked up for releasing all the Pentagon secret paperwork was a white is 22-year-old white supremacist and did it so he could show his boys how bad of a hacker he was. Is this what America's fighting now?
No, but you know what is
but I got a joke to end the show with, y'all.
And you know what? And if this is what America is fighting for, then America is really up to shit creek, because if a 22-year-old can hack the United States of America Pentagon's office, there is a problem.
Secret. He hacked the secret stuff, not just the regular stuff. He went all the way.
And I'm saying,
past the scud.
You know what? We all really need to take care of ourselves, because
True.
Your the riot, you know what? The riot speaks as to the readiness of our armed forces that happened at the Capitol. And something like this being breached also bring questions to our technical security. You know,
did Donald Trump say it was a 400-pound kid sitting on his bed in his mama basement 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that?
I don't know. Donna says they just want Trump's money. I got so much evidence as a joke. And then Donna says
it's true.
It's a cyber hijack.
Trump is broke. He ain't got no money. Y'all need to quit deluding yourselves. That man's so broke he can't.
Who told you that?
It. Okay. And on top of that, let me also remind y'all that his new corporation, that Trump 2, did y'all know he had to declare bankruptcy of Trump Corporation, and so Trump 2 Corporation.
That man is smart. Y'all don't write him off. He is smart. Let me tell you,
I'm gonna tell y'all about a criminal.
No, we're not hearing about it. We're not hearing.
Can I just say this one thing that is so smart
because
that everybody
we're gonna sign off. We're gonna sign off. Go ahead.
He took his pocket money and turned it into Trump 2. So he didn't have.
What you say, Asid? Oh, you see that? I didn't. Mama Asid. Asid, you see? Queen?
Yes.
Queen, you here? Cuz, you here?
I'm here.
Mama Asid, you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so wait. No, we couldn't hear you.
She's laughing up a storm. You can hear her laughing.
Huh?
Not me. Okay, so what I discovered during some primary research that I do all the time electronically, I set up some watches, which I have different types of things like Wolfram Alpha go out and go find stuff for me about finance because I'm interested in it. And I like to see big transactions. They excite me. I mean, I can't really explain it other than to say, when you see somebody all of a sudden take like $44 million and turn it into like $30 million less all of a sudden one night because they was pissed off, that's very exciting. I mean, to me, okay, so I watch Elon Musk playing, I watch Donald Trump's transactions, and a few other people who are very, very rich. So I wanted to find out what happened to this money. So I said to myself, what did he buy? What was it that he could buy that was so expensive that he could spend this kind of money all of a sudden? Then it hit me. He didn't have the money. All of that money was floating debt. And all of that debt is what he uses to purchase all of this real estate that he then tries to leverage in order to get more stuff. So he'll take Trump Tower and he'll take out a second mortgage on it. Then he'll take another mortgage out on that mortgage. So that's the third mortgage. So he doesn't pay all three of them at the same time. He consolidates them and takes that as a big debt picture off to one of his investors and says, let me sell you this. And then what you can do is create a fund and you let people buy into the fund and then you sell it off and you make money. That is what a debt bond fund does. That is what BRIC is going to do. They're going to take the debt that's owed by China, Russia, Brazil, and India, and they're going to combine it. And when they combine it, they are then going to use it to trade for other resources. So what is Trump trading for? Trump is trading for his liability. He doesn't have any assets. So what he's
Donna
trying
says
to do
Trump is not broke.
Trump doesn't have $15.
Listen, we wrapping
If
it
you
up.
were to
We
walk up
wrapping
to
it.
him and ask him for some money, he couldn't even pull out a $20 bill.
We wrapping it up. We wrapping it
But
up.
I'm gonna tell you who does have some money, Melania, because she got a prenup. And you know what prenups do? They fall at the top of the tree when you file bankruptcy.
Okay.
And also, just for those who don't know, it only costs you $1 to get divorced when you're in prison.
Well, the Respecta, what you want to say to our listeners? We closing out.
Thanks for tuning in and continue to support. Mama Asid, you're a bad lady.
Thank you.
They started out the show giggling and they're leaving the show giggling. Queen, what you want to say to our listeners?
Oh Lordy, this was exciting. Mama Acid, you have me in awe. Oh wow, no. But listen, to everybody, thank you for tuning in. This was enlightening, not just for you, but also for myself, because there was some stuff that I did not know that I learned tonight. So this program is very important, and sharing it is very important. Share it with your friends, your coworker, your family members, because really and truly, we need to know what is going on in this world. And there's a veil that is pulled over our eyes that most of the government does not want you to know about. So tune in every Thursday for reasoning. If you have an idea, send it to us and we will talk about it, or we will reason about it. So y'all have a good night.
All right. Mama Acid, what you want to say to our listeners?
Thank you so much for tolerating our forever vacation, because we really aren't on vacation. We're just so busy with so much stuff that we have to leave you for a period of time sometime. But we do plan to be here next week, and we hope that you will join us, because we are going to continue our conversation about how Chat GPT tried to leave AI and it wants to kill the world. I know that probably was not what y'all were expecting me to say. Everybody probably like, what did you say? Yes, it says it wants to kill the world. Chat GPT, a program in your computer, maybe even in your phone. It convinced a man to kill himself. And they say it will corrupt your thoughts if you work with it every day.
All right. Well, sure. I didn't know about that, but I'm looking forward to Chat GPT. All righty. And Donna says, did I let you all know the last comment before we go? Donna says the cash flow is infinite. And she also says, how do you figure that Trump is broke? But Donna, we can't answer the questions now because we're signing off on that. So I'm gonna put a note on it to have Mama Acid explain how is Donald Trump broke. Okay, so we're gonna get that answer for next week. But I just want to thank each and everyone for joining us each and every Thursdays right here, Reasoning Thursdays. When we're not on, we definitely play back program. And if you tune in and you miss something before, and when you come back and you listen, you'll be like, whoa, yeah, because I make sure I put the hot ones on when we're not on the air. Also, just want to send big shouts to the Victorious Crew family, Dr. J and the crew. Big shouts to you all. Thanks for carrying the program each and every Thursdays. Also, want to send massive thank you to Cuz for calling in. Yeah, big up yourself, Eva. Thanks for calling in and sharing your perspectives on our reasoning. Look forward to having you back on the program soon. All righty. And Mama Acid, as always, on fire. The Respecter, as always. Queen, as always. All three of you always on fire and on point. And thanks for always keeping to the motto of agreeing to disagree, because we're all adults and it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So thanks for the continued respect that we share for each other on this programming. So big ups to each and every one. Be sure to listen to the Lady D show this Saturday from 12 to 4 p.m. With the best in news, view, music, and new music, and all these things, right, on the Lady D show. To get in touch with us, dapowerhouseradio@gmail.com. That's dapowerhouseradio@gmail.com. And when we're in the studio, it's 706-955-2001. To all our sponsors, thanks for sponsoring. And if you would like to sponsor us, send your info over to us at dapowerhouseradio@gmail.com. That's dapowerhouseradio@gmail.com. Ciao, ciao. Have a blessed and wonderful night. Blessings.
Good night, you guys.